I will be starting a series in which I explore the pros on each side of an argument using factual statements, statistics found in studies and peer-reviewed articles, basically presenting a case and then letting the audience decide what they want to believe based on whatever conclusions they feel are necessary to draw based on the evidence that was shown. So that being said, let's just get right into the video. This is the top 8 reasons to support gun control. Strict gun control laws would reduce gun deaths. A JAMA internal medicine study showed that in the majority, stronger gun policies were associated with decreased rates of firearm homicide, even after adjusting for demographic and sociological factors. Laws that strengthen background checks and permit to purchase seem to decrease firearm homicide rates. Specific laws directed at firearm trafficking, improving child safety, or the banning of military-style assault weapons were not associated with changes in firearm homicide rates. The evidence for laws restricting guns in public places and leniency in gun carrying was mixed. According to a March 10, 2016 Lancet study, implementing federal universal background checks could reduce firearm deaths by a projected 56.9%. Background checks for ammunition purchases could reduce deaths by a projected 80.7%, and gun identification requirements could reduce deaths by a projected 82.5%. Gun licensing laws were associated with a 14% decrease in firearm homicides. High-capacity magazines can turn murder into mass murder. The portrayed need for something such as a high-capacity magazine comes with people who aren't thinking about others. No, Gary from Walmart, you don't need an X15 50-round drum magazine. A Mother Jones investigation found that high-capacity magazines were used in at least 50% of the 62 mass shootings between 1982 and 2012. When high-capacity magazines were used in mass shootings, the death rate rose 63% and the injury rate rose 156%. David H. Chipman, Senior Vice President of Public Safety for ShotSpotter and former Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, stated that a high-capacity magazine turns a killer into a killing machine. An example of this would be the fact that some gang members use high-capacity magazines, such as 30 rounds or even 90 rounds, to compensate for lack of accuracy and maximize the chance to harm. The protection of women from domestic abusers and stalkers. 5 women are murdered with guns every day in the United States. A woman's risk of being murdered increases 500% if a gun is present during a domestic dispute. For instance, during the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, 5,364 U.S. soldiers were killed in action between October 7, 2001 and January 28, 2015. Between 2001 and 2012, 6,410 women were killed with a gun by an intimate partner in the United States. 31 states do not ban convicted misdemeanor stalkers from owning guns, and 41 states do not force convicted domestic abusers from relinquishing guns they already own. 76% of women murdered and 85% of women who survived a murder attempt by an intimate partner were stalked in the year before the murder or murder attempt. A majority of adults, including gun owners, already want common-sense gun restrictions. According to a February 20, 2018 Quinnipiac poll, 97% of American voters and 97% of gun owners support universal background checks. For the sake of not seeming misleading, the same poll found that only 67% support a nationwide ban on assault weapons, 83% support mandatory waiting periods for gun purchases, and 53% of all adults surveyed approve of high-capacity magazine bans. 89% of adults with a gun in the home approve of laws to prevent the purchase of guns by the mentally ill, and 82% approve of banning gun sales to people on no-fly lists. 77% of Americans support requiring a license to purchase a gun. Enacting mandatory safety features would reduce the number of accidental gun deaths. According to the Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence and the National Physicians Alliance, states with the highest concentration of guns have 9 times the amount of accidental gun deaths, and 89% of unintentional shooting deaths of children occur in the home. Most of these deaths occur when children are playing with a loaded gun in their parents' absence. The U.S. General Accountability Office estimated that 31% of total accidental shooting deaths could have been prevented by installing safety devices on guns. 100% of deaths per year in which a child under 6 years old shoots and kills him or herself or another child could be prevented by automatic child-proof safety locks, and 23% of accidental shooting deaths by adolescents and adults per year could be prevented by loading indicators showing when a bullet is in the chamber and ready to fire. The presence of a gun makes a conflict more likely to become violent. The FBI found that in 2013, arguments such as romantic triangles, brawls fueled by alcohol or drugs, and arguments over money resulted in 1,962 gun deaths, 59.9% of the total. This one is pretty common sense. When an argument escalates into a fight, if a gun is present, it is more likely to be used. An example of this, without intentions of drawing conclusions, comes from an editorial published in the June 1985 American Journal of Public Health noted, "Gun-inflicted deaths often ensue from impromptu arguments and fights. In the US, 2/3 of the 7,900 deaths in 1981 involving arguments and brawls were caused by, wait, can you guess it? Guns. Civilians and hunters alike don't need military-grade firearms." President Ronald Reagan and others did not think that the AR-15 military rifle should be owned by civilians, and when the AR-15 was included in the assault weapons ban of 1994, which expired on September 13, 2004, the NRA supported the legislation. Jonathan Lowry, director of the Legal Action Project at the Brady Center to Prevent Gun Violence, stated, "These are weapons that will shred your venison before you eat it, or go through the walls of your apartment when you're trying to defend yourself." Countries with restrictive gun control laws have lower gun homicide rates than the US. Both Switzerland and Finland require gun owners to acquire licenses and pass background checks that include mental and criminal records, among other restrictions and requirements. In 2007, Switzerland ranked number 3 in international gun ownership rates with 45.7 guns per 100 people, about 3,400,000 total. In 2009, Switzerland had 24 gun homicides, that's about 0.31 deaths per 100,000 people, and 253 gun suicides, or 3.29 deaths per 100,000 people. Finland ranked 4th in international gun ownership rates with 45.3 guns per 100 people, about 2,400,000 guns total. In 2007, Finland had 23, or 0.43 deaths per 100,000 people, gun homicides, and 172 gun suicides, 4.19 deaths per 100,000 people. The United States, categorized as having permissive firearm regulation by gunpolicy.org, ranked first in international gun ownership rates with 88.8 guns per 100 people, about 270 million guns total. In 2007, the United States had 12,632 gun homicides, 4.19 deaths per 100,000 people, and 17,352 gun suicides, that's about 5.76 deaths per 100,000 people. Thank you all so much for watching. It was really nice to be able to do a video like I've been trying to get towards doing. Just a video where it's really just showing one side of the argument, and then in the future I'll put out the other side of the argument. It was really nice to be able to do something like that. It's been really cool to see my channel grow, and I'm looking forward to it growing more in the future. Just help me out. Just like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and yeah, if you disagree on anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat with you about it, that kind of stuff. But yeah, thank you for watching.